The new modified program that Carnival has for you to book future cruises on their ship has some limitations. In order to get the onboard credit, you have to book on board the ship, and you can't do it on the Carnival Victory, the Carnival Imagination, the Inspiration, or the Sensation anymore. That seems a little strange to me. We went to guest services to inquire about this because we wanted to book the Alaska trip, and couldn't find the Future Cruise desk, and there was no Future Cruise talk on the schedule in the app or on the Fun Times. And they said basically it wasn't financially sustainable. They didn't have enough people booking future cruises, I guess, on these shorter little milk run sailings on the smaller ships. So they just stopped doing it. And so Sam and I were both thinking maybe guest services could do it. These are well-trained people. They could just have the stuff maybe there, but apparently not. So we'll have to, I guess, book Alaska on land and forego the onboard credit just because I don't think there's a way around that.
I think it has something to do with. I mean, the one of the comedians, he's jokingly referring to this as a Section 8 cruise. And so, for those who aren't Americans watching this, I guess it's kind of like the social housing of cruising. I believe Section 8 refers to like social housing, welfare type status in the States. I'm not 100% certain. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And people are, I mean, all the Americans on the ship who were at the comedy show were laughing at that. And even on Instagram, you can actually see there actually is a hashtag Section 8 cruise. So I suspect because of that, and I guess because those particular ships, I guess, are the Section 8 cruises, that's probably why it's not really economically viable for them to have like a rep for the future fun times. But it still doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't have someone at guest services that would allow you to do that. Like, that makes no sense. I mean, I get not having a full-time person employed to do that, because I can see why that wouldn't be economically viable, but you already have the guest services person there. I can't imagine that this system is so limited that you can't just allow someone to book, because you're basically just assuming everyone on on this cruise ship is just going to be too poor to book a future cruise, and that's just not true.
Yeah, it's a little sad actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, admittedly, when you're working with a future cruise desk expert, you get some additional information. They'll have deck plans for every ship. So one of the things they'll often do, and they did for us for our upcoming Hawaii trip, is they look what's immediately above and beneath you in the cabin that you're looking at, which is something that I frequently forget to do. As a result, we've sometimes been, I think, right either above or below on the Sunshine where they were loading the luggage. And so early and late in that trip, there was a lot of noise. So admittedly, they don't need to do the future cruise presentation. They don't need to sell it very well, and they don't need to say this is for people who need that extra advice. If it's just for well-known traveled seasoned travelers, whatever, that people who would want to, I'm ready to go and book. I could do it online right now myself if I wanted to. I don't necessarily need someone to hold my hand through the process. And so those are the people who would take the initiative to go to guest services and ask. Having that alone would be fine. They don't have to even have all the ship maps, although that would be easy. It's one binder, have it in the back somewhere. But it's really surprising, a little disappointing that they don't do that. And part of me wonders if it's so that it's not as easy to get the onboard credit, so that it could be one of those cost cutting things. Carnival has made a lot of changes since I started sailing in 2013 that seems like cost cutting measures.